Hello everyone, thank you for watching Edupedia World videos. So in the last video, we have started with daily monitoring. So we have studied a bit about what is SAP system monitoring, why it needs to be done, and that is the primary role of any SAP basis administrator. So we have discussed 4 transactions yesterday, that is SM21, the system log, then ST22 ABAP dumps, SM13 about updates, and SM51 SAP application server overview. So again in this video, now we'll discuss 4 more transactions, okay, which are part of daily monitoring. Now the first one is system work process overview. So yesterday we have seen SM51, that is the overview of SAP application servers. Now this is the system work process overview. Transaction code SM50 is used to check SAP system work process. So SM50 is the T code which is used to check the work process, and this will show the work process of that particular only one instance only. Okay, say like you are logged on to some SAP system, so you'll be logged on to only one instance. So if you run SM50 there, it will show you the work process of that instance. Now if you want to see the work process of a different instance, then you have to run SM51, that is the overview of SAP application servers, which I have shown you in the previous video. Then there you have to double click on any particular server, then it will take you to the screen. Okay, so this will show you the list of all the work process which are configured on that instance. Work process do the majority of the processing of the SAP system. They execute dialog steps in user transactions, update, log, administration, etc. So work process actually do the processing in the SAP system. Okay, so we have seen different work process like dialog, update, batch, spool, and enqueue. Okay, so if you want to see like what are the work process, what they are doing, okay, all the information about that, then you have to go to SM51 and double click on like any server. Okay, that will take you to that particular instance work process, and it will show you that list. And the first and the foremost thing here we have to do is we have to refresh it. Otherwise, okay, so if you don't refresh it, then because work process have this multiplexing concept. Okay, this second you will see something running on the work process, next minute it'll change. Okay, so first refresh the screen, and you can display the current status of the work process on the application server where you are logged on from the T code SM50. As I said, if you log on and if you run this transaction, it will show you the work process of that instance which you are logged on. Okay, you must refresh the display to get updated information. So you have to refresh it to get the updated information. The information on the screen is described in the following section. The process overview is intended primarily for information gathering. For example, you can monitor process to determine if the number of the work process in your system is adequate to gather information for troubleshooting or for tuning. Anything. The basic thing you have to know like what is running in your system. Okay, so that is like either for troubleshooting or for tuning. Okay, anything like if any problem occurs, like this is also very important. You have to go and check like what is running, what is causing the problem. Okay, so see here we have seen like it's the first one is the number. This is the number of the work process. It starts from 0 and it continues. Then the type, it is the type of work process. DIA stands for dialog, BGD stands for background, UPD stands for update, ENQ stands for NQ, UP2 it stands for V1, V2, then SPO stands for pool. Okay, so that's how the naming convention. Then the PID, it's nothing but the actual, it is mapped to the corresponding operating system process. Okay, because this is nothing but a software. SAP is a software which is running on the operating system. So the work process are, it's nothing but it's an operating system work process only. Eventually an SAP system work process is nothing but it's also a process at the underlying operating system. So that is the process ID. Then the status. Okay, see, it's running. Running means something it's running now. Waiting means it's free and it's waiting. Now this hold is again very important. On hold means right now actually that work process is on hold. It's not actively running. Okay, something it is stuck on something. Okay, see here it went into sleep mode. Reason, sleep. Here it's RFC. So here it's waiting for some RFC. Or here it is like sleeping. In some programs, if something is waiting for something, you will put this, you will say like sleep for 5 minutes. So then this work process will go into hold mode and it will sleep. Okay, so you shouldn't see too many work processes in this hold status. Okay, a running is nothing but it's actually running. Then error, then semaphore, CPU, time, report, client, username, action, table, everything it shows, like what user is running, what report it's running, what is the table that report is using, and the client. Okay, then the CPU, like since how many how much CPU this work process is actively, time, CPU time it shows. Then restart means generally like if a work process aborts, okay, if you say restart as yes, then it will automatically restart again. Okay, and error says like how many times the work process has ended or aborted with some error. Okay, so the screen, it's like it's self-explanatory. It shows everything, all the details of the work process. And on the top, if you see like process, program mode, list, edit, whatever, here you can go to different other details. Like if you want to kill the work process, or you want to see the trace, or you want to restart it after the error. Okay, so these ones, cancel with comments, it will create a dump file, an error file at the operating system level. Cancel without comments, that you will kill the work process, but it will not do anything. Okay, restart after error, yes or no. And the trace, sometimes you want to trace the work process, so this is the option. Okay, so this is about SM50. So SM50 is used to check the SAP system work process. So you have to check for all the instances. Okay, so you have to run SM51 and double click on that application server, then it will take you to this SM50 screen of that application server. Okay, so this is about SM50 system work process overview. The next one is global work process overview. You can use the global work process overview to monitor the work process load on all active instances across the system, identify locks in the database, lock weights, then the status of each application server, the reason why it's not running the work, okay, whether it has been restarted, the CPU and the request runtime, the user who has logged on, and the client they logged on to, the report that is running. Now SM50 shows information about all the work process. Now SM66, okay, all the work process, SM50 shows all the work process of a particular instance. Now SM66 is global work process overview. So it shows like all the active work process in the SAP system. Okay, so here you will see all the active ones, like the ones which are active. Okay, so this is the server name. Okay, we have just covered it for confidential purpose. Okay, this is the number of the work process. So on different servers, like different instances, you will have 3 instances, like something like test 01, test 02, test 03. So all, okay, on all these instances, what are the active work process? So the number, the type, the process ID, and its status. Okay, if it stopped, then why it is stopped, like it's some debug activity is going on. So semaphore, start means like restart option. Okay, then the error, CPU, the time, since how long it's running, the username, the report name, action, and the table same. Okay, so here you can see the action also, like it's doing this particular work process is okay, doing a sequential read on this table. So this is the user ID. Similarly, here, this is doing some direct read. This is the report, this is the table name, user, like this. Okay, so this gives the immediate snapshot of all the active work process. Okay, SM50, you can check, like you will come to know like how many type of work process you have in the instance, like dialog, how many you have. Okay, that type of information it gives. But this one, if any problem occurs, you can immediately go and run this transaction. So it will show you like all the active work process. Okay, and it gives you the details also here. And one more advantage is like you can just double click on that here. Not only here, in SM50 also you can double click and you will go into further details. Like if you double click any of the active work process, then it will take you to the actual screen where it will show you the SQL, or you can even see like the ABAP report. Okay, all that information you can see, and you will come to know like which whether that user, if you want to track something like what that user is running, you can check out. Okay, or if you want to see like since how long the work process is running, that information. Okay, so this is all for some troubleshooting, or for some tuning purpose. You can these information is useful. And moreover, you can see the load also. You can compare the load, like why, like you can come to know like why load is getting diverted to this application server. Okay, you see so many active work process only on 01 instance. 02 is idle, then load balancing is not happening properly. Okay, so even all these things, like whenever some error comes or some problem happens, this is like used for troubleshooting. And these two transactions are very important. First, you should know like what is running in the system, who is running what. If some user complains like I'm getting some problem, you have to see like what he is running in technical terms. Okay, so these two transactions you have to run. Okay, probably sometimes you need to trace the work process also. Okay, so then from SM50 you can go and even trace it. Okay, and sometimes like you have to kill the active work process because it's doing some abnormal activity and the user told like kill it. See, you can go and kill it. Okay, so then you have to log on to SM50, or from SM66 you can go and even kill it. Tracing, killing, all types of troubleshooting and tracing that can be performed from these two transactions. Okay, so now the next one is operating system monitor, STO6. Again, this is like very important one. Transaction STO6, the operating system monitor, to monitor system resources that are provided by the operating system. Now STO6 is the operating system monitor transaction. So from an SAP system, you will see like all the different aspects of operating system, that is the host of your SAP system. The operating system monitor helps you to identify the cause of a performance problem. If the source of the problem is in the operating system, it can be analyzed further and resolved using external tools or other external means. See, sometimes like operating systems, memory constraint or something like hard disk constraint, anything. Okay, this is nothing but a software which is actually running on the OS. So the performance of OS is very much important. Okay, now I am logged on to some PC. Okay, and I am opening some Microsoft Word or something, but it is running slow. So it's not because my application is having some problem. The underlying system, the host, the operating system is itself having some issue. So this is about that. The performance indicators are CPU load and average utilization. CPU is very important. Okay, when there are more number of users, your system is very huge, then the demand of CPUs also increase. Maybe you sometime back you have configured your system with say 10 CPUs, but now because the load is high and the database like is extended, okay, it's using more disk, okay, it has more RAM, so you have to increase the CPUs also. So here, like, you can check these things from this STO6. Then the memory utilization. Again, actually the host memory, like how it is utilized by the SAP, is also very important. Now the next one is system swapping information replaced by pool data in OS 400. Okay, now the swap area also is very important. Then disk utilization information, LAN activity and OS configuration parameters, the IO. Okay, so my SAP system process is nothing but it's a process the operating system also. Okay, so when you just run this transaction, this is how the initial screen is presented in an AIX platform. In other flavors also it's somewhat similar to this. So you'll see information about CPU, memory and the swap area. Okay, so it shows you like the user utilization, the system utilization, idle, IO wait. Okay, so you should have more, idle time. The probably, like, you can't always see the user and system utilization at 90% or 99% always. Okay, then you have to check, like, if more CPUs are required. And the count, like, it shows you like how many number of CPUs are configured. Okay, and the load average. Okay, then the memory, what is the physical memory which is available. Okay, so and the memory which is free. Okay, so this is the total memory available and this is free now. Okay, similarly the pages in and out, and the last one is the swap, like how much it's configured and how much it is free, the minimum swap and the actual swap area. Okay, so you have to refresh it. And the operating system collector, it's nothing but the SAP is called, it's known as operating system collector. That is that is used by this particular service, the OS collector. It's used by the SAP system to get all this information of that particular host to present it on SAP. Okay, so later we'll go into details about that. So as of now, you think like operating system collector, it's a service, it's a process which is used by the SAP to collect all the information about the operating system host. Okay, if this operating system collector is not running, then this ST06 transaction does not show you the up-to-date stats. Okay, just you should be very careful. The OS collector should run in order to have the up-to-date stats of this operating system monitor transaction, because you will check in SAP, right? Being a basis administrator, you will monitor from SAP. So this process OS collector should run on that host, otherwise this particular transaction will be useless. Okay, now if you go into this detail analysis menu, this is how it is presented. Okay, so it will show you that current data and the previous 24 hours data, and like for last 30 days and additional functions. So the current data, you'll see the CPU, memory details, the swap, the disk, the LAN. Okay, then the file system, the top CPU. This is again good pointer which is used to check like what are the top hitters in the CPU usage. Okay, all these things. Then similarly for last 24 hours you can see. Okay, and similarly for comparison, like display within that server or across servers, and additional functions like the system configuration, parameter changes and LAN check, everything. So all the details, like from the operating system perspective, will be presented in this STO6 transaction. Okay, so mainly for CPU, memory, swap, IO, okay, disk. This transaction is very useful, and for this transaction to give the up-to-date stats, operating system collector process should be running on that host. So say like your SAP instance. Okay, you have an SAP system, it will have different instances. Each instance is on a different hardware host. Then each hardware host will have its own SAP OS collector. If you have two instances on the same host, okay, but still you will have this SAP system, and that SAP system will have its own SAP OS collector. Okay, so this is about operating system monitor. So this is used to monitor the system resources that are provided by the operating system. Okay, so generally for performance problems troubleshooting, this is used. Now we go on to the next one, that is the SAP Tune Summary. Now again, this on the initial screen of the transaction STO2, the Tune Summary, you can see the following overview of the SAP memory under the buffer overview. So this gives more about the SAP. So every instance will have its own memory, right? So this gives information about that memory. This is a snapshot of the current, the percentage and absolute values in kilobytes, and the maximum memory usage of various SAP memory types. So you have different SAP memory types like the role area, the page area, the extended area, and the heap memory. Okay, we have different buffers. Okay, so initially we have learned like a SAP application server will have some memory where we will have different types of buffers, okay, along with the role area. Now, so here we can see the different types of buffers, the name tab, the program, the CUA. Okay, these are the different types of buffers, the calendar, the tables. Okay, and then here we have the different types of SAP memories, the role area, the page area, extended memory, and the heap memory. So the table also indicates whether and to what extent the requirement is satisfied from the main memory and from the disk. So here we'll see like the current usage, okay, percentage in KB, and the maximum values. Okay, the role area is a memory area with a set configurable size that belongs to a work process. It is located in the heap of the virtual address space of the work process. So the role area is a memory area which is located in the work process. Okay, it's configured in the heap, that is the virtual address space of the work process. So that is the role area. Now the next one is allocation of SAP extended memory is the core of the SAP memory management system. Each SAP work process has a part reserved in its virtual address space for extended memory. So every application server has its own extended memory, okay, and every work process has its own part reserved in the virtual address space for extended memory. So every work process has its space reserved, okay, in the extended memory. Allocation of memory for the current internalization by transferring pages out of the memory is similar to operating system paging. So that's what SAP paging enables the role area to be extended at the ABAP runtime when a large data set, internal tables for example, is handled. If the dialog work process has used up the role area assigned to it in the extended memory, private memory is assigned to the work process. The work process goes into priv mode. In the parameter setting, ensure that too many dialog work processes are simultaneously in the not too many dialog work processes are simultaneously in the priv mode, since this lowers system performance. So once the role area is used by the work process, then it goes to the extended memory. Okay, so once that extended memory is also used, then it uses the heap memory. Okay, so then the work process goes into the priv mode, and you should ensure that we don't have too many dialog work process in the priv mode. Priv mode means that memory is held by that user and that work process only. Okay, so that work process will keep on running until its task completes, means like it's using up its own role area, the extended memory area, and the heap area also of the system. So in that case, like, memory will not be allocated to other work process, okay, because this heap memory is shared, right? So if you have too many work process in this priv mode, it will hamper the system performance. So we should take care like we don't have too many work process, dialog work process in the priv mode. The other work process like background, update, enqueue, and spool work process are assigned heap memory after the role area is used up. Allocating extended memory is not useful since no context change occurs for these processes. Okay, so for dialogue in AIX, the order is like in AIX, Unix, these flavors. Okay, the order is like first the role area, that is the work process has its own internal memory that is allocated. Then it goes to extended memory. Okay, then the heap memory is allocated. But for the other types of work process, first after the work process uses its own role area, then it will go to extended memory, and then it will use up it will go to the heap memory, and then it will use up the extended memory. Okay, so that is the order. For dialog work process, it's role, extended, heap. For all other work process and AIX and Unix, these flavors, operating system, first role area, heap area, and then extended memory. So that is the order. Okay, so you have understood, right? Like this tune summary is nothing but this is all about the SAP memory management. Okay, so we will see like what are the buffers which are there. This shows an overview of the buffers. Okay, then it will show you the different types of SAP memories like role area, the paging area, the extended memory, and the heap memory at the last. Okay, so even these are to be monitored every day, but probably like if this is more for performance tuning. Okay, so that's what you can collect the statistics and compare them like monthly or something. Okay, so this transaction is more useful for analysis, like for some collective analysis. It's much more useful. Okay, so today's topic we have started with, the first one is the system work process SM50. So it will show all the list of work process present on that application server. Then like what all different types of actions which can be done, okay, on this work process. Then the next one we have went to SM66, that is the global work process overview. So here we will see all the active work process in the system. SM50 shows only for that instance. SM66 shows the global view of the SAP system, the work process which are active, and these are used for all troubleshooting and tuning purposes. Then the next one we went to STO6. This is very important because this is the operating system monitor transaction. Okay, the CPU, the memory, and the swap area of the operating system can be checked here. Okay, so like the top CPU process or the CPU utilization, then the memory utilization of the operating system I'm talking about. Okay, and the disk, the IO, and all other parameter changes and everything. Okay, and even we can compare them within last 30 days or server wise. Okay, all the sorts of things can be done here. The next one is the SAP Tune Summary, that is STO2. Okay, so first we have seen STO SM50, SM66, STO6, and STO2, that is the Tune Summary. Okay, so here this is more for the memory management, SAP memory management overview transaction. This is, so here we'll see the different types of buffers are there and the utilization, the memory utilization, like what is the total capacity and the current usage, what was the maximum usage, like this. Then the next one we'll see the different types of SAP memory like the role area, the paging area, the extended memory, and the heap memory. Okay, so and if you go to that current analysis or detail analysis, you can compare them across different servers, or you can compare them across different days. Okay, so this is mostly for this STO2 is mostly for tuning purpose. Okay, so today again we have seen set of 4 transactions. So far we have completed with 8 transactions. Okay, in the last video in part 1 of monitoring we have seen, again I'm just rewinding, SM13, that is for update monitoring, ST22 ABAP dumps, SM21 system log, and we have seen SM51, that was for the system, the SAP application servers configured in the SAP system. In the part 2, we have seen again 4 different types of transactions for monitoring. We have started with SM50, the work process of a particular instance, then SM66, the system-wide work process overview, then STO6, okay, the operating system monitor, and the last one is STO2, SAP memory overview, that is the SAP Tune Summary. Okay, so again in part 3 of monitoring we will see different set of transactions. Okay, so this monitoring transactions are to be executed daily, to check the health of the system. So especially these the tuning ones are like every day you might not get like something from this transaction, like what will I check this tune summary every day or STO6 every day, but the stats you have to collect from these 2 transactions, and it will be very useful for analysis, because sometime when some problem comes you have to identify, say like if you have to increase SAP memory or operating system, like something CPU or memory you have to increase, then you have to analyze it over a period of time. Okay, because that involves cost. Simply you can't purchase memory and CPU for the SAP system now and then. Okay, so it's like very good practice to just track the information in these 2. You have to go explore them every day and check and record the values, so that it will be useful for performance tuning. Thank you.